Who exactly is this lost lamb?
Her name is Dr. V. Hunforsch. She was on Marasia cataloging local species for the Federation Zoological Database, but no one's seen her for days.
Have the local authorities investigated the matter?
Constable Lixie, who runs the preserve, thinks V went on a field trip and that there's nothing to worry about. To humor me, she said I should send a team to investigate.
Admiral, do you have any reason to suspect foul play?
The truth? V is headstrong. She might be chasing butterflies. But I think there's more to it than that. And Jean-Luc. Marasia is applying for Federation membership. You could review the state of affairs there while you're looking for our exobiologist.
Very well. As soon as we receive your report, we'll get on the way.
I'll transmit it immediately. Oh, and Jean-Luc, the Marassians have a strict matriarchal society. Males are usually treated as servants at best. Don't take it personally.
Understood, sir.
Good luck. Redrick out.
Laying a course for Marassia, Warp 5.
Yes, sir.
Engage. Mr. Data, any suggestions?
I suggest we contact Starfleet, Captain.
The fifth scroll could be the greatest social discovery in Garrett's history. I urge you to help us find the scroll for science's sake. Engage.
Warning. Entering nebula. Entering non-aligned space.
Helm, standard orbit.
Captain's log supplemental. The Enterprise has arrived at Marassia to investigate the disappearance of Dr. V. Hunforsch, an exobiologist stationed here for the past 2 years. The 3 species native to this world have enjoyed a millennium of peaceful cooperation, and this visit will give us the opportunity to review Marassia's petition for membership in the Federation. It's time we introduced ourselves. Mr. Worf, hail Constable Lixie.
Aye, Captain.
I'm Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Federation Starship Enterprise. We have come to investigate the disappearance of Dr. Hunforsh.
Welcome to Morasia. As I told Admiral Redrick, I really don't think Dr. Hunforsh is in any danger. She's probably on an extended field trip.
Good. We'll need your beam-down coordinates.
I shall transmit them. And Captain, in order to protect the animals in the preserve, we permit no weapons of any kind on the surface.
Our away teams carry phasers for self-defense only. They can be locked on a low stun setting. I assure you none of your animals will be harmed.
I'm sorry, Captain. I won't allow it. We cannot predict how even your lowest setting will affect our animals.
We will respect your laws. The away team will not be armed.
For a male, you are unusually cooperative.
Is there any better way to begin a relationship?
Forgive me, Captain. I am not accustomed to seeing a male in command. I will await your investigators.
Beam down coordinates selected.
Visitors for Constable Lixie. Constable Lixie is present.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hunforsh.
Welcome. So you are the artificial human. Interesting. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there really is no need for alarm. Dr. Hunforsh is probably just on an extended field trip.
Who were the last people to see the doctor?
Apparently, Consultant Idia was the last to see her. They had dinner or some such. It's all in my report. You should be able to access it through your tricorder.
If the doctor had been injured somewhere in the preserve, would you be able to locate her?
Of course. But our surveillance system can detect signs of distress in any of our inhabitants. And we've had no sign of trouble from the doctor.
The preserve clearly embodies your philosophy of life forms living within life forms to create a single harmonious organism. It is an impressive achievement.
Very observant, Commander. Your perceptiveness does you credit.
Your tone suggests that you do not like Dr. Hunforsh.
She hasn't made many friends here. She disagrees openly with our philosophy, our methods, and has even accused us of smuggling banned species.
I would like to investigate the preserve grounds where the doctor last worked.
We'd prefer to limit the number of outsiders in the preserve while it is under construction. Investigating the doctor's laboratory should be sufficient.
A thorough investigation of the doctor's disappearance will require me to enter the preserve. Furthermore, the Federation Council has requested a review of Morasia. Unhindered access will allow me to prepare a far more detailed report.
The Federation's requests are not law here. Not yet. But in the interests of cooperation, I'll open up the area surrounding my outpost. Be sure to stay within the visitors' areas. You must understand, my responsibility to the animals comes first.
I have no more questions for you at this time. May I investigate the doctor's quarters?
Of course. Her laboratory quarters are at the end of the path towards the mountains.
Has anyone heard from Dr. Hunforsh?
No, I'm afraid not.
biotable incorporates bioassay hardware to analyze specimens and perform scans. The insectivore is possibly a member of the Talpidae family. The bioprobe analyzes samples that a field unit collects from specimens. It is used primarily for zoological analysis. I see no way of using this with that object. A bioprobe is ordinarily used with a field unit to examine and analyze organic samples. The computer is a Birkin 400K model from Arguello 9. The system is accessed by voice print or password. I do not believe that will work. I do not believe that will work. I see no way of using this with that object. That is unnecessary. That is unnecessary. This terminal is offline. The power grid in this area may be damaged. This port can accommodate an external power source to run the kiosk. This terminal is offline. The power grid in this area may be damaged. I do not believe that will work. Dr. Hundforsch was examining these carcasses for a reason. I suggest we perform biological and sonic scans on the carcasses ourselves.
It's a cryogenically preserved specimen. It's a cryogenically preserved specimen. It's not working. It's not working.
It is a sonic scope. It uses acoustic resonances to analyze molecular structures. I do not believe that will work. I see no way of using this with that object.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal.
I do not believe that will work.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag. Subject is in a carnivore.
I see no way of using this with that object.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy. Subject is marked as a Kujan gibbon. Probable cause of death is massive infection by Naturov parasites. This parasite is not native to the Kujan's habitat.
I am not certain this is a Frednorian boar. I believe it may be an Akana boar, a close genetic relative. I see no way of using this with that object.
Subject is marked as a myocordae mole. Probable cause of death is neural energy loss.
I do not believe that will work. I do not believe that will work. I do not believe that will work. I see no way of using this with that object. I do not believe that will work. I do not believe that will work. The field unit is configured for a specific terrain and climate. It monitors the conditions of animals who have been injected with identification microchips. Dr. Hundforsch has maintained an excellent laboratory. All of her equipment is highly advanced. I see no way of using this with that object. I do not believe that will work. I do not believe that will work. I see no way of using this with that object. Has there been any contact with Dr. Hun Forsch?
No, I'm afraid not.
I see no way of using this with that object. Has there been any contact with Dr. Hun Forsch?
No, I'm afraid not.
This basket holds fruit, roots, and larvae for the constable's Veranda bird. Morassians typically use the bones of the dead to make useful objects. The carvings are signatures of all past inhabitants of these quarters. The computer is a BAT 4003, an obsolete Milosian model. It has been modified for hand and foot operation. The carvings are signatures of all past inhabitants of these quarters. Verandas are highly intelligent avian mammals with sophisticated vocal abilities. This port can accommodate an external power source to run the kiosk. Lieutenant Worf is the ship's... This terminal is offline. The power grid in this area may be damaged. Intriguing. This panel controls access to the quarantine area. The gates open automatically in the event of a power failure. Dr. Beverly Crusher is the Enterprise's... These generators create a network of force field segments to form separate containment areas. The harmonic collector operates on the same principle as the Bussard ram scoop collector. Its purpose, however, is to reconfigure sound waves. This cage was broken open from the inside, most likely by the last creature it held. I am receiving readings of unusually high ionic residue. The harmonic collector operates on the same principle as the Bussard ram scoop collector. Its purpose, however, is to reconfigure sound waves. These generators create a network of force field segments to form separate containment areas. This panel controls access to the quarantine area. The microgenerator uses thermal energy to replenish its internal power source. This cargo shuttle is powered by two 2,250 millicochrane warp engines. This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are within the jelly corals and the water. This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are within. The field unit is configured for a specific terrain and climate. It monitors the conditions of animals who have been injected. I do not believe that will work. There is no sample in this field unit. If there were, we could extract it with a bioprobe. This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are the 4 tunnels within that petrified tree. The field unit is stalled. It is not configured for this biotope. This micro... This micro-generator is completely drained, yet the charge should have lasted several days under these conditions.
Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal. Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
I do not believe that will work. I do not believe that will work. That is unnecessary. A massive computer fragmentation has erased the doctor's files. The only salvageable message from her daily log is sessions with Tracker Melas canceled. Schedule again after field trip. Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hoon Forsh.
Greetings. I doubt that she is in any danger. She's probably just taking a vacation after her blow-up with Constable Lixie.
We found your name in the doctor's laboratory. What is your relationship with her?
I teach her territorial recognition. At least I did. We suspended our lessons after the power outages began. I haven't seen her since, but I doubt she's lost. Such an excellent tracker, even if she is a bit weak in the nose.
This blow-up you mentioned, do you mean the constable and the doctor had an argument?
Dr. Hoonforsh discovered that several animals from Aramit's second shipment were illegal species which had been mistagged. I think she accused the constable of smuggling, but I'm not sure. Healer Zolas told me the story.
You mentioned power outages. Can you describe them in greater detail?
A power surge at our quarantine shelter destroyed some of the generators. 2 watchers were seriously injured and several animals escaped. Since then, we've had outages in the biotopes. They're still under investigation.
Without the generator, the individual containment fields in the shelter will not function. You would no longer be able to quarantine any animals for analysis or adaptation.
That's right. Most of our personnel are out searching for escaped animals right now. Dr. Hunforsh might be doing that on her own.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve?
That's one of the new arrivals from the second shipment. Maybe there was an error. You know, we've had a number of minor problems with creatures from that shipment.
A creature tagged as a Frednorian boar apparently died of starvation. Do you know how this could have occurred?
Hard to say. The Watchers are quite good. I can't imagine they'd just let this happen. Maybe they were given the wrong care instructions, or maybe the animal was not identified correctly.
A creature tagged as a Kujan gibbon died of a parasitic infection not found in its native habitat. How could this have occurred?
I don't know. The Watchers are the ones who care for the animals. Maybe they can help you.
One creature experienced an energy drain within its neural pathways. It is untagged but appeared to be a mole of some sort.
It's probably a Myocordae mole. They're quite common on Marasia, but I've never heard of one dying like this before.
Its cause of death is unusual, but not unprecedented. I have personally encountered a species that consumed human neural energy for survival. Is there a preserve animal that might feed on Myocordae neural energy?
None that I know of. Perhaps the Myocordae got caught in one of the generator power surges, but then it wouldn't be drained of energy. I don't know.
Thank you for your time.
I wish you well on your search.
It's possible the constable felt that telling us about her argument with the doctor would arouse our suspicions. But why would she withhold information about the escapes?
I do not believe that will work. That is unnecessary. Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
Thank you for your time.
I wish you well on your search.
Open a channel to Consultant Idia.
Channels to Consultant Idia are closed at this time.
Open a channel to Grower Inongo.
Channels to Grower Inongo are closed indefinitely.
Open a channel to Healer Zolas.
Channels to Healer Zolas are closed at this time.
Open a channel to Tiller Miveat.
Channels to Tiller Miveat are...
Open a channel to...
Channels
Smuggling is a serious offense. It would certainly jeopardize the acceptance of Marasia into the Federation.
That's why she thought Constable Lixie might be involved, to thwart Federation entry.
What exactly are the Watchers' responsibilities?
The Watchers feed and care for the preserved species.
Has Dr. Hunforsch contacted you?
No, I still have no scent of her, but I feel she will return soon enough.
Thank you for your time.
I wish you well on your search.
Constable, I would like to know why Dr. Hunforsch accused you of smuggling.
She found a Romulan creature, which is, of course, banned from import by Federation law. It was tagged as a similar legal species. She has accused me of smuggling it in order to damage our chances for Federation membership.
How do you explain the mistagged animal?
I blame our supplier, Eramet. He's rude, devious, and barely competent. If I'd known Eramet was a Ferengi, I'd never have listened to Idia's recommendation. But the contract is binding, and he does deliver on time.
Constable, I understand the Preserve has been experiencing some unusual power outages.
Those were just a few temperamental generators failing. They've been repaired. Is the Federation now concerned with our internal technical difficulties as well?
Why do you oppose Federation membership?
Membership in the Federation would compromise Marasia's freedom of action. Some of us would rather not see that happen.
I appreciate your candor.
You impress me, Commander. It's strange that your creator can find you in the male form. Still, you compensate well.
I believe the Constable. She seems genuinely devoted to the Preserve, and I don't think she would resort to smuggling, even to thwart Federation membership.
I see no way of using this with that object. This panel controls the containment field. The field is centered on the harmonic collector. Dr. Beverly Crusher is... This is the harmonic collector control. The collector has been set to emit a brief high-energy pulse. This panel controls access to the quarantine area. The gates open automatically in the event of a power failure. This is the harmonic collector control. The collector has been set to emit a brief high-energy pulse. This panel controls the containment field. The field is centered on the harmonic collector. The harmonic collector operates on the same... I see no way of using this with that This cage was broken open from the inside, most likely by the last creature it held. Intriguing. Intriguing. These generators create a network of force field segments. This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are the caverns, the pit, and the crater. There is no sample in this field unit.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
I see no way of using this with that object.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
Open the channel to Consultant Idia.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hoon Forsh.
As I told Constable Lixie, I don't know where she is. Must you interrupt my research with more pointless questions?
I'm afraid so. According to the Constable's report, you are the Preserve's consultant.
Yes, I helped select and verify preserved species in the biotopes. The Morassians wanted a Federation expert, despite Lixie's objections. They were lucky to get me.
You were the last to see Dr. Hoon Forsh before her disappearance?
As far as I know, that's not a crime.
Constable Lixie mentioned that you recommended the Ferengi trader Aramut for the second shipment.
He delivers what you want on time. The constable gave me hell when she found out that he was a Ferengi. She barely tolerates me because I'm a male.
I'd like to know what you and the doctor discussed.
When I saw her for supper the other day, she was talking about genetic samples from the last shipment. She knows I don't like to hear people talk while I eat, so she said little else.
But Dr. Hoon Forsh was cataloging Morassian species exclusively. Why would she want genetic samples from other animals in the preserve?
I don't concern myself with the lab work of junior scientists. Now, do you mind? I have important research to conduct.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Animal carcasses in an exobiology lab? Well, that's certainly unusual.
A creature tagged as a Frednorian boar apparently died of starvation. Do you know how this could have occurred?
Sounds like incompetence to me. The Watchers blindly follow whatever care instructions they're given. No personal initiative at all.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve?
It must have been smuggled in. You know, the Watchers have requested restricted species before and were denied. Dr. Hoon Forsh must have found out about it.
Consultant, I am puzzled. Since you verify preserved species, you must have known this was an Akana. Why did you not report the misidentification?
I didn't want to. I wanted the chance to study it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Who am I to deprive science of my brilliant research on such a specimen?
Did the doctor confront any of the Watchers with her suspicions?
I think that's why she's missing. When she confronted them with the Akana, they must have stunned her. Those stunners don't trigger the surveillance system, so nobody knows about it.
Why would the Watchers resort to smuggling?
They're fanatics out to save the endangered creatures of the universe. I've suspected them all along. especially when I discovered this mistagging. You see, these tags can only be reprogrammed by a watcher.
A creature tagged as a Kujan gibbon died of a parasitic infection not found in its native habitat. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
A mycorrhizae mole experienced an electrical drain from its neural pathways. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for wasting it.
Idia's accusation that the Watchers are fanatics is certainly plausible. Collectors can be quite zealous in their pursuit of rare specimens.
Idia certainly has a high opinion of himself. The thing he seemed most interested in was his reputation.
Open a channel to Grower Inango.
Channels to Grower Inango are closed.
Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
Thank you for...
I wish you well.
Open a channel to Heal...
Channels to Healers.
Has there been any contact with Dr. Hun Forsch?
No,
Has there been any
No, I'm afraid not.
This is a topograph... There is no sample in this field unit. If there were, we could extract it with a bioprobe.
Dr. Hunforsch programmed these field units to search for specific information.
I see no way of using this with that object. I see no way of using this with that object.
These field units are programmed to explore this.
There is no sample in this field unit. If there were, we could extract it with a bioprobe. I see no way of using this with that object.
Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject contains high ionic residue and trace amounts of neurotranquilizers. Originating creature may consume energy. Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
Open a channel to tracker Melas.
Channels open.
Thank you for your time.
I wish you well.
Open a channel.
Channels open.
I wish to ask you some questions.
Look, I'm in the middle of some very delicate research. Can't you find someone else to bother?
Open a channel to...
Channels to healer Zolis.
Open a channel...
Channels to tiller Mivet.
Open a channel...
Channels to grower...
Open a...
Channels open.
I wish to ask you some questions. Has there been any contact with Dr. Hunforsch?
No, I'm afraid not.
The computer is a BAT 400. This cargo shuttle is powered by two 2,250 millicochrane warp engines. I see no way of using this without... I see no way of using this with that object. I see no way of using this with that object. I see no way of... I see no way of...